Alright guys, we're gonna continue with the Queen of Fables storyline 203. This is JLA 48 from DC Comics. And yeah, it seems that the whole New York is enchanted, right? And also Diana is, seen by the Queen of Fables as Snow White. So Cal and Wally... Is it Wally? I still don't know if it's... I believe it's not Wally, but... I mean, his name is not really mentioned here. But I could be wrong, right? This could be, so also very young. But hey, so he says, she's a sleeping beauty, right? And he says, yeah, lay her on it, man. Puck her up. He says, me? No, you. Me? No, I mean, dude, she's an Amazon princess. So they're bickering who wants to kiss her, but then Aquaman just comes in. And he says, you're no use here anyway for this. As Superman has just informed me, this is a job for a handsome prince. And she wakes up. And she's also a little bit enamored, I guess, because she says, Arthur, that was. And then collecting herself. But then Cal says, I thought you were king of Atlantis, which means I was once a prince. Close enough. All right. And then we are going to... the Hansel and Gretel storyline because, I've got to explain that a little bit later. But, Martian Manhunter and Plastic Man are not in a good place, right? And he's starting to melt because he wants to save John. And but then Diana comes in, right, saving the day. And she says, those men are my friends. Lantern, and blows up the whole house made of candy and cookies and whatnot, right? We're getting nowhere, Diana says. New York is an enchanter's forest. We can't find the enemy. And other than she's got me confused with a storybook character, we know nothing about her. Where she came from, what she wants. Well, the last one's pretty simple, no? You heard her. She wants to be the fairest in the land. So she says, this is my fight. I will not tolerate any of you being put in the middle. But Superman comes in and says, Diana, we operate as a team. That's why we voted Batman out, wasn't it? So we could operate in total unity. But, he thinks that's, things are getting worse. And so Cal says there's no blood. What does he say? I suppose anyone thought to leave a trail of breadcrumbs, but then Batman says, taken care of. But, Batman was voted out. He's kicked out of the JLA. So Flash is really happy, but Cal says, sorcery is a little bit out of your arena, isn't it, Batman? This is JLA business. Why are you here? Because you need me, he says. So Aquaman comes in. I see being voted out of the league didn't damage your ego. You listen to me. People are in danger. We don't have time or the patience for a aloof loner act. If you come after us because you'll learn something, share it now. And then he opens the book and they are being sucked in. By the way, there is 2 artists in this book. So we have BRYAN HITCH and G.H. William III. Sounds like royalty. And this art is pretty good. So they're being sucked up in the... in this book, and they have different, medieval clothes on, right? And then the huntsman says, my lady White, oh, princess, of all inconceivable evils the queen had planned for you. Never did I dream she could be so cruel as to exile you for this, to this Lord-forsaken spot. Diana is playing along, right? Worry not for your beloved princess, huntsman. For I am not infamy or ramen, it's true, but skin white as snow, lips red as blood, hair dark as night, your beauty is unmistakable. So Green Lantern says, what is this place, right? And why are you talking as if this was real? The bat suggested you might ask such question when he came through a mere minutes ago. So I thought, okay, Batman comes into the book. How did he came out, right? Anyway, so they are going deeper into the books, right? But then ads. It seems that the Queen of Fables has raised Themyscira. You call this island paradise? I wouldn't. And so she says to this warrior woman, this is Holly the Princess of Homeland, I remember. Where is your king? Tell me. No king, no man. Queen Hippolyta will make you pay. And then she's getting eaten. So the queen is bringing forward, right? And Ogress, bring her forward. Let me see what sort of pathetic concubine my former husband has sullied himself with. You confused, deluded. My daughter has no stepmother. My poor ignorant dear. Of course she does. Well, and then the police are here at the Museum of Amazon Culture, right? Because they talk about that particular stories in books are disappearing. Then the Queen of Fables comes and these guys are done. He's killed, right? And then the huntsman tells the story, what happened to the queen. Once long ago, the queen's magic held sway over the vast kingdom corrupt with power. She used the dragons and ogres and fairy to menace villages far and wide until a conclave of sorcerers pulled her enchantments, rifting the very air and banishing her to a distant domain. Earth. So we're to believe we're fighting a fantasy witch exiled from another dimension? It did not take the queen long to establish the reign of cruelty over a new home. Many guises did she take, many innocents did she torture. The common folk were playthings to her. I like the art, by the way. There's a very storybook telling-esque visuals. I like that very much, right? For decades, she and her familiars terrorized all of the villagers of Europe. Decades, but that's impossible. No one's ever heard of her. Until the day her greed and her vanity at last did her in. Right, marries a king, get jealous on stepdaughter Snow White, orders to kill her in the woods. Yeah, we read the history books. So where this is going, Flash says, patience. When the queen learned that the princess was not only alive but merry wed, her fury was limitless. Forever demented with her rage, she brought all her forces to bear on the German castle the Lady White now called home. The resultant war was long and bloody. Thousands were slaughtered, and the Lady White felt responsible for every drop of blood spilled. Again, looks great. But the lady then, I don't know, feels responsible, feels very bad, and she don't know how to end the tragedy. But then she found in the castle's vault an enchanted book, and she did some kind of an incantation and sucked the lady, the Queen of Fables in. And in a burst of magic, made fiction what was once fact. Wait, it turned you into a story, literally? Giving the Lady White her wish. Her stories, by definitions, are not real, thus neither were we. Not only did we no longer exist in your world, in the flash, we never had. Wait a minute. Amazing. Flesh and blood became ink and paper. That's why there are no records of that time. When the queen became fictional, so did her every action. I like it when this story is being portrayed, that the fairy tales were portrayed that once upon a time it was all real until it was made fiction into books. That is cool. The book passed through many hands over the centuries from time to time, even locked and bound. We stirred imaginations, became nightmares and folk tales, but never again became real until the book was finally opened and read. Wait, you said Snow White imprisoned the queen with the best of intentions. Meaning what? Meaning stories have their own power. Precisely as I said, this tome was already a storybook filled with myths and legends. The transformation into fiction gave the queen the same power over this place that she had enjoyed in other realms. So basically, the queen has now power of all of the fairy tales in existence. Everywhere, through the whole world. We're in trouble, says Green Lantern. But now we know her story and we can beat her. Thank you, kind huntsman, for all your sins. Your confessions may yet to be the key to the queen's defeat. So they are, willing themselves out of the book, I guess. Jumping out. Still have their, their medieval gear, right? Nice threads, by the way. The book is killing me. The book is the key somehow. We've got to discover a way to imprison the queen, and to do that we have to find her. But where could she be? Well, wherever these guys come from. And that leads us to the next issue. I like it. I like this instead of, superhero and battling super villains, we have a, adult, quotesque, somewhat adult-ish, very tale story in a GLA. I like that. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think about it. We're going to do issue number 3 pretty soon. See you next time. Bye-bye.